Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the FRL Pure Sim Gear Super Sprint season. Super Sprint season 10, and it's round 2 at Imola. Now, I'm going to be your host for this evening. My name is Sean Madden, and joining me in the commentary box once again is my co-commentator Rob Barker. Good evening, Rob.
Good evening, everybody, and good evening to you, Sean. I can't believe we're back here already. It's gone so quick.
It has indeed, Rob. It has indeed. But it's good to be back. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, after last week's action at Monza, we just moved a few hours down the road to Imola in Italy for round 2 of the Pure Sim Gear Super Sprint Series. Rob, could you remind us of tonight's running order, please?
I shall indeed. So the drivers are currently into their last sort of 16 minutes of the practice session, which has been going now for 45 minutes. We will then start the 15-minute qualifying session at 8 p.m. UK time. Race 1, 20-minute race, will begin at 20 past the hour, and race 2, a 40-minute race, will start at 8:45 UK time. Tonight's points, same as always, 40 points for the winner of this evening's race, 2 points for the fastest laps, and points will be awarded all the way down to P30. So, with race number 2 this evening, Sean, would you like to run us down the current standings?
Yes. So, current standings, just bear with me. Current standings at the moment, as you can see, guys, we have got Zdeněk Vortel on top of the pile on 78 points. He managed to get a first place and a third place, so 2 podiums for the 2 races at round 1. This is followed by Thomas Bellarmine and Kobe Alerts in joint second on 66 points. There was a race win for Bellarmine, which took him up to second place. Unfortunately, got a bit of, I would say, a little bit of a bad result for him. He did qualify on P1, but had that disastrous start in race 1 and did really well to make up the positions to get P9. But he is joint second with Alerts, who got a podium and a 6th place. Then we've got Jay Wazza in 4th on 60 points. We've got Melvin Crows in 5th place on 58 points. We've got Dan Naisbitt in P6 on 56 points. Then we've got Blakely Townsend in P7 on 54 points. Then we've got Robbo Fernker in P8 on 50 points. Michael Clark is P9 with 45 points. Then we've got Pedro Silva in the top 10 with 38 points. In fact, it's joint 10th with Francisco Souza and Pedro Silva on 38 points. Then we've got Danny McCutcheon in P12, 38 points. Ahmed Al-Duri in P13 on 37 points. P14 is Alexander Rozanov with 35 points. P15 is Buzov with 33 points. Joint with Kari Matti Naikanen with 33 points. P17 is Paul Trotman with 31 points. Zebravani is P18 with 28 points. Joint with Elizabeth Eaton Hadley. And then P20 is Michael Mullenix with 22 points. Darren Townsend 21st with 20. Morgan Grace with 19 points in P22. Alessandro Spanu in P23 with 17 points. And then in P24 is Will Friedman with 13 points. Now, there is a race going on at the same time, the amateurs. Of course, we can't cover that race, but best of luck to the amateurs. Over to you, Rob. For
another stack grid. Yeah, another stack grid in both pros and AMS. AMS are racing again into a different lobby, but Imola, officially called the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, located in the town of Imola in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy, 40 kilometres east of Bologna. The circuit, the 4.9 kilometre long, 14 corners, 10 to the left, 4 to the right. The most famous corner at Imola is Tamburello, which unfortunately over the years has seen some rather unfortunate incidents. The elevation change at Imola is not as dramatic as some of the other tracks, such as Kota, but it does have the challenge of the track. The drivers need to be aware of the elevation changes when braking and accelerating. They also need to make sure that they are carrying the correct amount of speed through the corners. Nicky Thilm holds the current GT3 record around here, a 140.3 in the in the Aston Martin. Will we see times anywhere near that tonight? We shall wait and see. But Sean, I do believe you have a rather nice track guide for this evening.
Yes, indeed, Rob. Do have a track guide now. I'm not saying that I am any expert or to any degree of the level of the tonight's drivers because I'm quite new to the game. However, I did put together a track guide to give you a rough reference of what you should be doing at Imola and kind of what the drivers will be doing around Imola tonight. So, without further ado, let's get to the Imola track guide. And, those of you that are new to the game, maybe you can learn from what I did. So at the start of this lap guide, it is full throttle down the straight. Now we're coming up to the Tumbarello complex for turns 2, 3 and 4. We're looking for that orange mark on the right hand side as your braking point, or when the track starts to straighten up for the corner. Now it's hard on the brakes, down into third gear, go over the crest on the left hand side, over to the right hand side. It's full throttle through here, out of the left hand turn there. Up to fourth, up to fifth, around 140 miles an hour. We are coming up to the Villeneuve complex. We're braking on the 100 board or the start of that curb on the right side. And it's really a little brake and kind of coasting the car in as we go over the left-hand crest. And then it's hard on the brakes, down to third. Try to hit the apex on the right-hand side, although I missed it. And try not to go too wide on the exit. So coming up to Tosa, turn 7, our braking marker is the 50-metre board. On it or just afterwards, down into second gear, try to hug the apex on the left-hand side. As the corner opens up, then hit the throttle and power out the exit. So up the hill and approaching Piratella for turns 9 and 10. So braking on the 50-yard board, down into third gear, trying hit the apex on the left hand side, try not to go too wide because the car will naturally want to understeer, and then we're braking, and it's a little dab of the brake really on the 50-yard board for the Minerali complex. So a little dab of the brake over the right hand curb. As it straightens up, then harden the brakes, down into second gear, clip the apex on the right hand side, straighten up the car as much as possible and as quickly as possible, so you can get on the gas as soon as possible. So coming up to the Grassini chicane, our braking marker is at the start of the curb there. Very tricky chicane here. Down into second gear, try not to touch the sausage on the right and the left hand side. And don't go too wide out the exit as well. And it's full throttle through this section, down the hill. And as soon as the car straightens up, we want to be hard on the brakes for Ravazza for turns 18 and 19. So over the left-hand curb, straighten up the car, foot on the throttle, then kind of lift slightly as we go over this left-hand curb. And then as the corner opens up, then it's full throttle. And that is a lap around Imola. Now we put in a time of roughly 1 minute 43.8. So probably nowhere near the pro drivers. But, you know, if you can take a little bit of reference of what I did on that track, then you can't go wrong. So we are back on board with the drivers at the moment. We have got, 8 minutes until the end of practice on to qualifying, Rob?
Yeah, the guys are just, finalising those preparation laps for the 15-minute qualifying session, which is due to start in around 7.5 minutes' time. Currently, Smallhand is quickest in practice with a 142.5. Vortal, with one of our race winners from last week, just a tenth of a second behind with buzz off 2/10 further back. But yeah, I love this circuit. Imola is an absolutely phenomenal track.
Yeah, Imola, very technical circuit, very easy to get it wrong on the brakes. The car does become quite unstable through all these sort of undulations of, downhill and uphill sections. So you have your concentration's got to be, it's got to be up there, because if you if you're slightly off it, the track can punish you.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of drivers in the gravel already, particularly around turn 9, Piratella. People, a couple of drivers clipping the litter on the outside or the exit of turn 9, which is forcing them to abandon those laps. Rather get it out the way in practice than carry that into qualifying. So.
Yeah, of course. Get all the mistakes out of the way in practice and hope that you can be as close to perfect for qualifying. I'm expecting big things from Vortel tonight, of course, in the lead of the championship. Also, as well, maybe a little bit of a redemption for Tom. He's also in the pits as well, so can't get on board with Tom here. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Tom performs. Currently in the championship, he is P2. So we'll see how he gets on tonight. Let's go on board with Busov then. So fastest lap time at the moment is Small Hand, 1 minute 42.375. Busov currently at the moment 3.5 tenths down in P3. And I have to say, Rob, maybe my lap time of a 43.8 not actually that bad.
Doesn't seem to be too bad at the minute.
Just having a look at chat, just got to welcome in Bill, LCK, Hazza Baldwin, Uber Beasts. Hope you're all doing really well tonight, guys, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, that was Small Hand just improved his lap time by 1/10 of a second there as well.
Nice. So 142.375. It'd be interesting to see what manufacturer actually comes out on top. Small Hand, of course, in the BMW. As you'll see with the field, it is dominated by Ferraris. But more importantly, the leader of the championship right now is Vortel, who is in the McLaren. So although there's a big split of Ferrari drivers, there are other cars that can more than compete with the Ferrari, it seems.
Yeah, the 999 McLaren of Vortel went very well last week. And also, we had a couple of other McLaren drivers that we saw right at the top. Small Hand had a particularly good run last week as well in the BMW.
Yes, indeed. There was as Monza suggests, there was quite a lot of battles on track. I do suspect, though, Rob, that there were a few people that got caught up in the drama that perhaps didn't show the real pace that they've got. Maybe we see it tonight.
Yeah, hopefully so. Obviously, turn 1 Monza is always a tricky one to get right, particularly when you've got a grid size of this many drivers all itching to make their way forward. A little bit of patience required at turn 1. Whereas I see Imola should be a little bit more settled, working their way up to Tamburello. There's a little bit more room. Hopefully we'll see a little bit less contact.
Yes, well, interestingly, Rob, track temperature 49 degrees. Now, is that too hot, or is that perfect racing conditions for the drivers?
Oh, that's absolutely baking out there today. There's absolutely no wind in the air either, so it's still, it's hot, 38 degree ambient. It's a warm day out there.
Yes, indeed. So them tyres could melt very quickly. Of course, guys, first race is 20-minute sprint. So ideally, the drivers will not want to pit in the 20 minutes. So tyre pressures may be at an all-time low to keep the tyres cool enough so they don't melt before the end of the race.
Yeah, that outlap's going to be really important for the drivers with the temperature soaring, 49-degree track temp, 38-degree ambient. That outlap, they're going to want to look after those tyres and make sure that they're not already cooking them before they start that hot lap. So not much tyre warming going to be needed, unlike last week at the Monza. I don't think we'll see cars weaving around so much. I think they'll make their way around quite gently on their outlaps.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't actually have the game volume on. I'm surprised no one actually said in chat. But Gazoo Racing, welcome. Hope you're doing well, mate. Pleasure to have you in the stream. Hopefully, guys, if you can let me know if the volume levels are to your satisfaction, that would be much, much appreciated. But Aldori, I am interested to see that guy, because right now he's in P11. But if you remember, Rob, Aldori, he didn't actually set a quali lap in round 1 at Monza, but he really rose up the field. And I think, in fact, the first race, he ended up finishing in P8. So when I was saying about doing a 0 to hero or a last to first challenge, well, he wasn't that far off in the end.
No, Alduri did show phenomenal. We know Alduri's fast. Looking at last season's results, season 9, we know the driver. We know he's a quick driver. As Dan McCutcheon in the Ferrari, season 2 champion, drove really well last week. Tom's points current standing probably doesn't show his true reflection of pace. Absolutely dominated the second race, but obviously with the unfortunate in race 1.
Yeah.
He probably fell down the leaderboard a little bit. Just coming up to the 15-second marker of practice. Looks like the drivers are all returning to the pit. They're about done with practice, and quali is just round the corner.
Indeed, Rob. I can't wait to see this. Of course, practice not a true reflection of what they will be doing for the qualifying. But as we alluded to before, it's just about sort of getting them early nerves out of the way, testing the tyres, making sure that, their setup is perfect for the race and for qualifying, of course. But as we look on the free practice leaderboard, Smallhand did end up getting the fastest lap with a 1 minute 42.375, which is just over a tenth quicker than Vortel in P2. And it's Robbo Fernker that was in P3, 42.6 there. Busov was also mentioned in chat last week that he's an absolute rapid driver. He ends up in P4 for a 1 minute 42.7. So, right, so that is practice done, Rob. Qualifying is underway now. So, I'll try and get you on board with a driver that is in the front of the queue. I believe it is car number 242, which is... I can't find it. Also interesting, guys, we have got 23 drivers on track tonight.
Sorry, I've just had a mild panic there because I almost thought I'd just left the garage there to start my outlap. I was like, no.
Yes, Rob does not want to be entering this type of race.
Oh, absolutely not. These guys are way too quick for me.
Just trying to find the appropriate driver. Of course, all the cars will be spacing out, and because of track conditions being a very hot track, not going too hard on the outlap, and just going quite slowly, and of course they can't go too slowly because they still do need to have the brakes and the tyre temperatures at a certain level so they're ready for the start of their quali lap. But yeah, Rob, is there anyone that you could say is favourite to be the fastest? Any bets that you could put on?
Well, some of the quick guys from last week. I mean, Tom didn't set a lap in practice, so be interesting to see how he performs after his last week's performance. Also, Vortal showing good pace in practice, just a tenth or two off that P1 spot. Small hand in the BMW M4 GT3, number 420. You know, sets a very good qualifying practice lap. Yeah, just watching that timing screen and see who makes the early moves.
Of course. Just trying to find the driver at the front. I'm still trying to find who was driver number 242. Although it looks like 688 is at the front of the queue, which will be Daza T.
Yeah, Daza T in the BMW M4 GT3, number 688. 242, I'm not seeing a 242.
Yeah, on the track map that I'm looking at, 242, probably, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth car down from 688 is there, but on the actual timetables, I cannot see it.
Maybe just a little bit of a glitch there. So yeah. In practice session, Small Hand was quickest in Sector 1 and Sector 3, although Vortal did take the rewards from Sector 2, and that left them just 1/10 of a second apart. So it's going to be all hands on. Can't quite see who's at the front of the grid.
I believe it is Daza. I think so. Although 246, yeah, I'm not sure. I think that was an outlet from Daza. Actually, Naisbit has just gone onto pole position there. 144.7, followed by Cletus in down into P3 because McCutcheon is in P2. Alerts has taken an early lead with a 1 minute 43.8. And then Tom comes across the line with a 1 minute 42.692. So he is the provisional leader at the moment.
That's just a couple of tenths off the fastest lap in practice as well. 142.4 from Vortal. That pops him onto provisional pole in the 999 McLaren.
Indeed. So Vortal setting the early pace at the moment. Fully expect. Sorry.
Car facing the wrong way there at Aqua Minerale. Minerale. I'll try that one again.
Minerale, I think, was it turn 8, I believe, isn't it?
11.
Oh, was it 11? Right, okay, my bad. So, yeah, we've got 11 drivers that have put in a lap time so far. We have got Vortal, Tom and Small Hand in the top 3 at the minute, all in the 1 minute 42 range. So we've got half the grid to put in a lap time. We go on board with Daza, I believe. Just trying to get the appropriate name. It's that 242 again. So yeah, time.
Not sure why that's 242 appearing on the grid map. So I can't see a registered 242.
No.
Never mind. Driver number 334, which is Agalukin, has fell victim coming down the hill, and we also see a yellow flag, a car off track. I think that's in the pit.
Oh no, that was Tom. That was Tom in the pits. Akalugan, actually new driver, I believe, Rob. Don't recognise that name from the first race.
Yeah, I did see that name in the first race there. Buzov just pops himself into P2. That's a brilliant lap from Buzov there. 142.57.
Excellent lap time. So, yeah, in the mid 42 range there for Buzov. As stated earlier, absolute rapid driver. So expecting big things from Busov, and I'm sure he would like to set the record straight as well. So we'll see how it goes. But we are roughly halfway through qualifying right now. We've got 8 minutes remaining. So still enough time to get your lap times in. We've got 5 drivers that are still to set a lap time.
Yeah, just I'm riding on board with Smallhand in the BMW 420, fastest in practice, making his way through Tamburello, working up through Villeneuve corner now. Can he? He's a little bit off the pace. He's a little bit off the practice pace.
Sorry, who was that, Rob?
Smallhand.
Smallhand, right? Okay.
Yeah, he's quite a couple of tenths off his practice time, so I'm hoping he can get this lap hooked together. He won't want to start in P6, not after setting the fastest lap in practice.
No, definitely not, definitely not. But what I will say though, Rob, currently right now, it's actually very tight in terms of the qualifying times. You're talking the top 9 separated by 9.5 tenths.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff.
So it seems like with this technical circuit, it seems like this is going to go right to the wire in the last 7 minutes of qualifying. So it could be anyone's qualifying session, but Vortel currently on pole position, 1 minute 42.172, is sitting in the pits as well. So has he felt like that is strong enough to get him the pole position for qualifying, or is he going to go for another run?
Smallhand currently on a 143 flat, a little bit off the pace compared to the practice lap, but there pops it into P2.
Nice, Smallhand. So P2 for Smallhand, just under 4 tenths slower than Vortel with that 142.1. 3 1,000th of a second separated Smallhand and Busov for P2 and 3.
And no purple sector for Smallhand either.
Wow. Okay.
So currently Vortel is lighting up the timing screen with the 2 purple sectors, sector 1, sector 2. Busov takes the fastest 3rd sector in P3.
Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. Cars are quite separated, so not using the slipstream. Of course, as alluded, you know, being a technical circuit, perhaps you don't really want to be in that slipstream because you are going to lose that aero as a Smallhand actually goes off the track there. So maybe not satisfied with his lap, goes back into the pits.
Vortel improving on his pole time, now sat at a 142.1. Will we see a 41 tonight?
Well, if anyone can, I'm sure Vortel can. Yeah, I mean, he's literally 1.5 tenths off of the 41, so he's definitely a man that, you know, is capable of it. Not going to happen on this lap, though.
Yes, aborted that lap.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Wow! Vortel and Tom with identical times at the top of the leaderboard of a 142.172. You don't see that very often, but what a lap by Tom there.
I was going to say, Rob, maybe, you know, 1/1000th of a second, not exactly identical times. I mean, that is incredible. Of course, Vortel will be on pole position if it stays like that because he was the first to set that time. But, I mean, Tom must be, in a way, must be absolutely gutted that he weren't even 1/1000th of a second quicker, you know. But, yeah, incredible stuff.
That does shoot him to the front of the pack there, so he was sitting a little bit deeper into the pack, which, you know, maybe struggling to find a little bit of pace early on, but yeah, that lap certainly impressive time there.
Indeed.
You don't see that, you really don't see that very often.
I mean, that is what you call a photo finish right there, Rob, isn't it? Okay, so let's just go up and down the grid really, just to see how everyone's getting on. Sky Adrian still hasn't put in a lap time, but he is on a flying lap, I believe. Although he has got a car in front of him. So maybe going beyond track limits, maybe. I'm not sure. But he's the only driver that's not put in the time so far.
Just the 3 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. Don't forget, guys, qualifying will set the grid for both race 1 and 2. So if it stays this way, Vortel will be on pole with Tom in P2, Smallhand in P3. But there is still 2 minutes 50 seconds of qualifying left. These guys are going to get 1, maybe 2 more laps in, depending on how those tyres fare in this temperature.
Yeah, and that is an important point that Rob has made there. Track temperature 49 degrees. That is certainly not the kind of temperature that these cars would like to operate in. They would like it to be a shade cooler. So these tyres, they do have to, of course, qualifying, they're going to be pushing like mad, but in the race, they will have to sit off slightly just to conserve the tyre wear.
It's always a tricky one. It's a fine balance between pushing and obviously conserving the tyre, particularly in qualifying. Obviously, is a complete push lap, but during the race, those tyres, you're going to want to make them last long enough. You definitely don't want to be forced to stop.
Well, I was just on board with Friedman there. He did go 3 places better, up into P16, 1.6 seconds off of the current leader, who is still Vortel with the no split lead over Tom.
Yeah, I'm still shocked at that.
Yeah,
you don't see that very often.
Well, looking aboard with Smallhand, I think he has just come across the line there, so hasn't improved. Still in P3. This is going to be his last lap of qualifying. So, can Smallhand join Vortel and Tom? Maybe even get in front of them. Who knows? I will have to look on Vortel and Tom, because I'm sure, especially Tom, probably pushing like mad to make sure that he starts the race on pole position.
Smallhand's still a couple of tenths of a second off his best lap time set in practice, so he will still be looking to improve on that 142.5. Can he improve? I think his best lap was a 142.3 in practice. Still not good enough for pole.
Oh, MGK up into P3. Sorry, Rob. MGK up into P3. Just under 3 tenths behind Vortel. So that will be a 142.4. Great lap there from MGK. Pushes Smallhand down into P4. So see where Smallhand is. I was actually on board with Busov, Rob. He is just at Revatsa. So near.
Yeah, Smallhand is making his way down the hill into Rivazza to finish this final lap. Exactly 1/10 now splits P3 and P4.
And Busov up into P3, Rob. 1.5 tenths down on Vortel. Great lap.
42.3.
Smallhand, meanwhile, just coming down to the start-finish line now. Doesn't improve.
Tom's just set a best purple sector 2.
He stopped, Tom. It's back in the pits.
So that will be it then.
That will be it. Vortel will qualify on pole position unless someone like MGK can do something about that.
Kayla is just about to cross the line. Will he improve from his current P13? Yes, he does. P10.
GG's to alerts. And then Alduri as well goes up into P8. 5.5 tenths down on pole position. So Alduri starts in P8. That is much better from Alduri compared to last week.
I'm intrigued here because the number 38 car of Sky Adrian, who hasn't set a lap, is about to cross the line.
Oh, he must have got a timing because I just went to flick on him.
Yeah, P10. Puts himself in P10.
P11.
Zabravani is entering the pit, so the only driver remaining on track is the 55 of De Silva. No time set, so this is really important lap for De Silva. Pops himself into P19.
P19, right. Okay, I was trying to flick onto him right at the last minute, but that is the end of quali. So let's go back to the garage and look at the timetables just to confirm the end of qualifying there. So Zdeněk Vortel will be pole position for 142.172, which is joint with Tom, but will be in front of Tom. But Vortel and Tom on the front row there. Then we've got Busov in P3, 1 minute 42.322. MGK in P4 with a 1 minute 42.467. Then we've got Smallhand in P5 with a 1 minute 42.567, which is actually joint with Robbo Ferncut in P6, exactly the same time.
Wow, two in one race, that's unreal.
I don't think that's ever happened. I thought it never happened with just one pair, but we got two pairs with exactly the same time. Then we've got Frank S in P7 with a 142.710. Alduri qualifies in P8 with a 1 minute 42.750. Then we've got Critico in P9, a new driver that I don't recognise, with a 1 minute 42.852 in P9. Then we got Sky Adrian in P10. With a 42.887, and then just going down the list as we go along is Alerts, it's Zabravani, Missile Dogshaft, Dan Naisbitt, we got Cletus in P15, Freeman in P16, Dan McCutcheon in P17, Prentice, another one that I don't recognise, qualifies in P18, De Silva in P19, Tro in P20, Spanu in P21, Clark in P22, and Aka Lugin at the back of the grid in P23.
We've also got Daza in P24. You've missed a driver there.
Oh, yeah. my apologies. so yeah, Daza at the back of the grid, sorry, in P24.
Quick catch up with chat. Welcoming Bill. We've got LCK Racing in chat. Gazoo Racing also. Uber welcoming King D42. Welcoming Chucky. Chucky is in the chat. Welcoming Chucky. We've also got Dan. I'm here just trying to survive. I am slow. You're braver than I am, mate. Getting yourself amongst that lineup of drivers, you're much braver than I have. Get your head down, enjoy the race, and that's all you can do, really.
You never know what can happen in the race, you know. As what happened in the first race at Monza, it was all carnage, and I was mentioning about Arduri, for example, where he qualified at the back of the grid, ended up getting a P8. So anything can happen, Daza. And as Rob said, stick to it. Yeah, you never know.
The guys, the drivers are all lined up on the grid, just a 2 minutes 40 countdown timer. The drivers will be making one complete formation lap before the lights go green. Indeed,
Rob, indeed. So actually probably quite an ideal formation lap, actually, because as alluded to, track temperature 48 degrees. So they won't need to do too much weaving about. Maybe a little test on the brakes within reason. But yeah, just that anxious wait to get the race started, of course.
Yeah, this 2 minutes feels like a month. I'm not even racing.
Yes, indeed. LCK, I mean, hopefully there will not be any carnage this time. Maybe race 1 at Monza was a one-off, you know. So we pray for a nice clean start. Of course, drivers are going to have to be a little bit wary through turns 2, 3 and 4. Quite a bendy part of the circuit. Yes, it could go too wide, but quite dodgy though, to be honest, Rob. So they will have to be wary of each other, and we pray that the drivers are sensible and keep it clean for at least the first lap.
Yeah, it's a fast. The words I'm after. It's a fast exit out of Rivazza, so these guys will be going absolutely full speed into turn one as the race starts, and they will need to be careful. The runoff area at Tumbarillo is all gravel, so if you find yourself out there at turn one, you are going to very quickly find yourself at the back of the grid.
Yes, indeed, Rob. It's it's a scary start for sure. This could either go very smoothly or horribly wrong. Let's hope it's the first one.
30 seconds.
So we got Mr. Baldwin. How's Baldwin in chat? Hello, Flawed.
Hello to you, Hazard Baldwin. Hopefully you're having a great evening. Thank you so much for tuning in, of course, Hazard. We will do our very best to give you all the action on track. And just as the clock does tick down, 5 seconds until the formation lap start. And they're still stationary at the moment. There we go.
There they go.
Yeah, Tom, a little bit slow to get off the line there, but they eventually get away. There we go. So also as well, Rob, this time, as we know the drivers a little bit better, we can kind of know who's who in which livery. We kind of recognise these drivers a little bit better than last time, so hopefully we can keep up with play.
Yeah, indeed. So the guys just making their exit of Variante, Tamburello, working their way up to Villeneuve, turns 5 and turn 6.
And I do believe if they are close on this section, Tozer could be a good opportunity to make an overtake because it's a hard braking zone, and the track is wide enough to have two wide there, of course.
Yeah, Tozer, a fantastic opportunity to make the move if the exit from Villeneuve is good.
Indeed. But yeah, Vortel. He very, very fortunate to start on pole position. But just trying to think of the lead up to turn 2. So he will have the inside line. But then, of course, it's kind of the outside line for turn 3 and then the inside for turn 4. So it's a hard one to call, really, what could play out.
Yeah, although it's the inside line, it does make that turn 1 much sharper than you'd probably prefer it to be if you've got a car on at the outside.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, Busov, this time starting from P3 this time. Not used to seeing him. Yeah, I was going to say.
Quality from Busov. Also MGK as well finds himself in a much kinder spot after his race last week. The second race from MGK was absolutely amazing to watch. So I'm going to keep my eyes on him tonight. Can he make some moves?
Yes, indeed. I mean, we saw in race 2 that really close battle between him and I think it was Alerts, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was K Alerts.
Yeah, and they were literally nose to tail for, I'd say, pretty much half the race. So he knows how to race fast, but race close and clean at the same time. So yeah. We're hoping for great things from MGK tonight.
As the drivers start to form their grid out of Rivazza, Flawed, over to you for the start of the race.
Thank you, Rob. So yes, we have Vortel and Tom on the front row, Busov and MGK on the second row, Smallhand and Robbo Fernka on the third row. So as they approach the start-finish line, just coming across the line now as we start round 2 at Imola of the FRL Pure Sim Gear Sprint Series.
Green light. Go.
It's green and it's go! And it's a fantastic start there from Vortel, who holds on to that lead with Tom in P2, Busov in P3, and MGK and Small Hand side by side. And, oh my God, you can see nearly 3 wide. Oh, there's a bit of contact as well between Tom, Busov and Small Hand. But they do survive. They do survive.
Oh, we've got 2 off the track.
2 off the track where, Rob?
Number 38 is off the track. So Sky Adrian is off the track on the exit of Villeneuve.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. Yeah, he's still off the track. It's looking like he's probably going to box into the pit, and that'll be the end of his race. But meanwhile, Vortel is in the lead at the moment. 1.4 second is the lead over Busov. So Busov starting in P3 up into P2. We've got MGK into P3 with Tom down into P4. Then we've got a cluster of cars of Aldori in P5. Fernka and Frank side by side at the moment battling for P6.
Quite notably, Sean Morhan, after that fantastic qualifying, finds himself at the back of the grid.
Wow, that's that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and that is what we was worried about prior to the start of the race. So unlucky. But just to bring you at the moment, we've got MGK in P3. Tom is in the slipstream of MGK. That gap has closed down to 3 tenths to 2 tenths with Robbo Ferncar in the background as well. But Tom's not going to go for that for now. So MGK will hold on to P3 with Tom P4, Robbo Ferncar P5, Frank in P6. And the new driver that I didn't see last week, Critico, up into P7.
We've got Prentice in the 43 Lamborghini back in the pits also. So 2 drivers already in the box, and Smallhand has now caught back up to the pack as he tries to make a way. Oh, we've got a car round at Tozer.
Okay, is that
It's the number 41 of Cletus round at Tozer in the Ferrari.
Okay, well, he's back on the track at the moment. I'm going to have to switch to Tom. Tom is off. Tom is off. Trying to work out where that is. That is the. Is it the Piratella? The Piratilli? I can't remember what it's called there. But Tom has sunk down many positions. We didn't really see what happened. I just saw him off the track. And once the leaderboards sort themselves out, I think Tom is down into about P10.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little bit of contact. I didn't see the second driver, but there were 2 cars off the track at turn 9, which is indeed Piratella and Tom. And we're waiting for him to cross the timing zone, which will be the start-finish straight, to see where he is. But I think you're right. I think he's...
Yeah, he's sinking down.
Yeah, he's back down into P10.
So again, is it a race 1 jinx for Tom?
MGK with a phenomenal move round Kyle Hertz into Tamburella. It looks like MGK's fallen backwards as well from the start.
Yes. Maybe MGK and Tom. Maybe it was between them 2 that had the tangle. Maybe.
Ahmed Elduri in the number 15 AMG Mercedes as he works his way around Tozer. He's made some moves.
Sorry, Robbo, I've got to get him board with Frank because he's so close to the back of Robbo Fernka in P3. They were literally side by side, but Frank lets Fernka through for the time being. But we are talking like a car length's distance between them as Frank gets a better exit out of that corner. Exit. Going into the chicane, you cannot get too wide there, so does back out for now. Of course, still on the back of Robbo Fernka though, as we go down the hill for Ravazza. Can he be? No, he's not going to go for that. That would be some send from Frank. but can he get a good exit out of turn 18? Not really, and Robbo is going to pull away by the looks of it. Still in that tow though, Rob.
Yeah, Frank. I think Frank in the 3-2-1 McLaren there. I think that was quite sensible driving. Really, the move was not on. He just focused on getting that good exit. I think he's racing. He's quite measured. As Robbo goes wide.
Robbo does go wide, and he's going to
Frank
lose.
Takes a position.
He's going to lose 2 positions because Critico goes up the inside as well. So Frank is down into P6.
Yeah, I think that, genuinely, I think that was very good driving by Frank. He, didn't pressure it too much, but let him know. He let Frank know that he was there, and maybe that pressure got to him as they went through Temporella, because that was a free position.
Indeed, Rob. Indeed, it was quite weird, really. But yeah, maybe got a little bit caught out and got a little bit too late on the brakes, and maybe locked up the brakes and went wide, and obviously over the kitty litty there. But yeah, a little bit of a wasted opportunity you feel for Robbo, but still in a good position, P5 at the minute. Meanwhile, we've got
lost too much time.
Yeah, not too bad, but we're on board with MGK in P7 now. He is closing in on our Dory, so it's AMG against Ferrari, but our Dory gets a decent exit out of the Gresna chicane.
I don't know whether I can confirm this is for repairs, but it looks like Smallhand in the BMW has retired from this race.
Oh damn.
After setting the quickest lap in practice and qualifying at P4 for Smallhand, I think.
Oh, sorry Rob, going into turn 2, and there was nearly contact between Critico and Frank, and Critico wisely decided to pull out of that and actually going over the gravel track there. Otherwise there would have been instant contact. So a bit of drama there between Frank and Critico, but Frank up into P3 now. Busov, meanwhile, 1.3 seconds behind Vortel. Sorry, Rob.
So I just MGK absolutely smashed over the sausage curb of Villeneuve. He's now lost the place to, I believe, Kyle Lurz.
I think it was Aldori.
Yeah, someone definitely went absolutely flying over that sausage curb.
To be honest, we have got a bit of a train of cars between Robbo, Alduri, MGK, Alert. Yeah, Alerts is in P8. It might have been Alerts that hit the sausage quite dangerously. Because MGK is in the fight here. Currently in P7, but in the fight for P5 at the minute.
Yeah, Busnov going really, really well in P2, setting the fastest lap of the race so far. Doesn't seem to be too far behind. The timing screens only update as they cross each of the sectors, but driving really, really well and starting to put some pressure on Vortal after 5 laps. 11 minutes left of this race.
Yes,
I don't think the race up front is done.
No, I can see on the time board, but I was looking on board with Tom because he is currently like a car's length between himself and De Silva and P9. It's looking quite tasty at the moment. Maybe Tom biding his time slightly, but it's only a matter of time before he makes a move on De Silva and P9. De Silva goes a bit deep though. Tom is going to take advantage of that, I think. Oh, okay. In the end, Tom not able to take advantage. But it's a very, very close battle, and also as well, Alerts I think went a little bit wide out of the exit there. So that means that De Silva and Tom are going to close the gap on Alerts in a P8. So quite a few battles on track at the moment, Rob.
Yeah, just looking up and down the timing sector, we've got close battles up and down the grid. I don't even, AKA Lugin. I think we're going to go with that one. Just a couple of tenths behind Dazza there towards the back of the grid. We've got Missile, who's a couple of tenths behind Spanu, driving really, really well. Yeah, we've got quite a few battles up and down the grid. Tom and De Silva, K Alerts also very, very close. We'll stick on board. Well, I will be sticking on board with these guys for a while.
Yeah, well, I was just on board with them just to see what exactly was going on. Yeah, very pretty much nose to tail there, battling for P18, isn't it? So, but yeah, there's quite a few battles on board. If I go back up to the top for Vortel and Busov, currently it's 1.1 second is the gap between them. So that has kind of stayed for now. But MGK very close to the back of Robbo in P5. It's very much a cat and mouse game at the minute, but Robbo gets a slightly better exit than MGK. MGK had to back off slightly because he was in fear of going into the back of him, but very close.
MGK's absolute foot to the floor.
Yeah.
Giving it everything. Get a good exit up the hill.
Yes, he does. To be honest, both of them do. This is a very, very important couple of corners here for the chicane.
Yeah, that McLaren looks very strong on exit, but the Ferrari looks very good on the brakes.
Good acceleration as well, I think, Rob.
Yeah.
But down the hill they go for Ravazza. And this is the all-important corner here. That's a great exit there from MGK. He's going to have the slipstream of Robbo Fernker now as we go down the back straight to come across the start-finish line.
He's closing.
He is closing. Is he? He's
He did have a look.
He did have a look, but it would have taken a very brave man to send it on the inside there.
Good exit out Tamburella. Still closing. He's not going to let this one go. Where do you pick your moment? Excuse me. Where do you pick your moment to pass? He gets a good exit here. Will there be a move into Toza? A little bit far back from my liking.
Yeah, it's not looking like at the minute that MGK can. He has lost a little bit of time as well, going a little bit wide over that curb. So for the meantime, just gonna have.
Frinker's gone quite wide as well.
Okay.
Brilliant exit here from MGK. So close.
It's just the Ferrari just accelerates away a little bit, and it only takes that extra 1 or 2 miles per hour. But he gets a really good exit, gets very close to the back of Fernker. But again, that Ferrari, the acceleration, just pulls away. Oh, he does look for the inside. Oh, there's a tiny bit of contact, but backs off a little bit MGK. And allows Robbo to get the final exit done. I don't think MGK is done here, though. He's in the slipstream as we come across the start-finish line. Surely he's going to send it here. Robbo's going to defend the inside. He goes around the outside. Later on the brakes, and I think he's made that move stick. Yes, he has, although Robbo could come fighting back here out the exit of turn 5. In that slipstream, he's looking for it on the inside, but he does back off. He'll get on the brakes a bit earlier, and I think finally, MGK has taken that P5 from Robbo.
Yeah, the brilliant move around the outside into Tamburella.
Sorry. Tom going up the inside of De Silva in P10, up into P9. De Silva making that slight bit of a mistake, nearly completely lost the rear of that car. So De Silva down into P10. Sorry, Rob.
I was just about to say the battle between MGK and Robbo. The McLaren of Robbo does seem to have the pull up the hill as he looks like he's going to make a move. Oh no, he bails out of that one. But these guys battling has brought Alduri into the mix in the Mercedes. He's now right behind this battle going on between Robbo and MGK, all in different cars as well. This one looks like it could be quite spicy with only 4.5 minutes left in the race.
Yep, just on board with Alduri now as we speak. Yeah, literally 4 tenths separating each car from P5, MGK, Robbo in P6 and Alduri in P7. There's quite a lot of battles on track at the moment. We alluded to De Silva, who has got the slipstream of Tom in P10, battling for P9. Tom gets the inside line, De Silva on the outside. They were side by side, but De Silva has to back off, and Tom gets through nice and safely. So De Silva back into P10, but we've also got Zabravani in P12, just 2 or 3 tenths behind Will Freeman in P11. This is a fantastic race here, Rob. Someone's going slow.
Exciting.
That's De Silva, is it going slow? De Silva on the outside. It looks like Zabravani has gone. Oh, okay. He had the inside line there, but De Silva then pulls away. So once the leaderboard sorts itself, oh God, he goes over the grass. Zabravani goes over the grass, nearly loses the rear of that car, just about saves it.
One of the battles that I called earlier in the race, definitely not over, and that is the battle for P1.
Indeed, Rob, indeed. Yeah, Busov, well, it says 7 tenths, but it is definitely less than 7 tenths.
Definitely less than 7 tenths, yes, yeah. Definitely less than 7 tenths. He has been closing all lap and piling on the pressure to Vortal, who does have the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 50 on the clock. We're going to get 2 more laps. We're going to get 2 more laps, and Busov is down to 3 tenths of a second in the slipstream. This one's not over. It's
not over at all. Absolute fantastic racing. I'm going to change that camera to the aerial shot there. Yeah, that gap is closing and closing all the time. And of course, if you're going to make your moves in the final 2 laps, it has to be now. So Busov is going to be pushing like mad and putting all sorts of pressure on Vortel. Can Vortel withstand the pressure, though? That is the question.
Well, Busnov did take the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, so yeah, he's really piling on the pressure of Vortal. Will we see a similar result to what we saw earlier in the race, where that pressure just becomes too much for the driver in front? But Vortal looks calm and collective and driving absolutely phenomenally out there at P1.
Well, meanwhile, Rob, there's contact between Zabravani and Robbo Fernker for P11 and 12, but it's Zabravani that comes out worse and spins the car. Does that mean Naisbitt does go in front of Zabravani into P12? And Missile Dogshaft now closing in on Zabravani and sweeps on the inside. There was again a little bit of contact there, but Missile Dogshaft up into P13. Zabravani will drop down into P14. So big mistake really from Zabravani. Couldn't see whose fault it was, but there was clear contact between Robbo and Zabravani. Zabravani losing 3 positions from that.
Yeah, I didn't quite see the contact on that one. Was just looking at the stream to see a replay as Busnov does take another very quick lap with a 142.9. Slightly
larger gap, isn't there, between Busov and Vortel, what I can see. It's the time board says roughly about 7 tenths between them. This is the last lap, of course, so yeah, Busov really needs to get a move on if he has got any chance of getting the race win here. But Vortel doing an excellent job so far.
Yeah, Vortel driving very well. Pretty much dominated the race up and front. Started P1 and led every lap of this 20-minute first race of the evening. Goes a little bit wide though through into Piratella as they work their way down to Aqua Minerale. Oh, and Busnov's turned it round almost. He's caught it. But that will be the race. I believe that will be the
That
race
will be
there.
the race win for Vortel, unless he makes a catastrophic error in the closing 3 corners. Got to say that Vortel is going to win race 1 here at Imola. So just going through Ravazza now. Yeah, nice clean exit out of the final turn. And sorry about that. Vortel will win race 1 of the 20-minute sprint here at Imola. Congratulations to Vortel. Busov will get P2. And Frank with the last podium position in P3, with Critico in P4, MGK P5, Alert in P6, De Silva in P7, Alduri in P8 just finishes in front of Tom in P9, with Will Friedman rounding up the top 10. Coming across the line now, Rob Furka P11, Naisbitt just behind in P12, Missile Dogshaft in P13, Zabravani in P14 and Spanu in 15, with Cletus 16. McCutcheon, quite a lonely race there in P17, Dazza in P18, and Apprentice will be the last one to come across the line in P19, with the rest of the field in the pits.
I was just going to say, Buznov, absolutely driver of the day for me on race 1. Although he didn't take the victory, that last push was very, very entertaining. So he'd be my pick.
Yeah, definitely. We probably would need to have a vote in chat at the end of race 2 for driver of the day, but you're definitely correct there, Rob. Busov, who was pretty much nowhere in round 1 at Monza, gets the P2. Fantastic podium for Busov, with Frank also very, very good P3 for him as well. Vortel, though, will extend the lead of the championship, getting another win. So congratulations to Vortel. Critico was in P4 in the end. Great drive from, I don't know if he's a new driver for FRL, but certainly wasn't in the first race. So fantastic racing from the Ferrari driver there. MGK finishing in P5, so actually did well to come back and grab that P5. We've got alerts in P6, also Ferrari driver. De Silva in P7 in the McLaren. P8 was Alduri, so I don't think he made any moves from qualifying, I don't think. And then Tom losing 8 positions to P9. Will Freeman gets the top 10 position there, with Robbo down into P11 with what was a promising start to the race, it has to be said. Naisbitt P12, Missile Dogshaft P13, Zabavani, who was in the wars in this race, gets his P14, Spanu P15, Kalitas P16, McCutcheon P17, Dazza P18, Prentice P19, Akalugin 20, Smallhand 21. I assume that Akalugin, Smallhand, Tro, Adrian and Clark either had damage or maybe underfueled.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the one driver definitely retired after coming off with an early collision. I'm not sure whether there's any fueling issues with some of the other drivers. Absolute disaster for Smallhand after setting such a good pace in practice and qualifying really well. Maybe it's his turn for hopefully not race 2, but yeah, it's a bit of a disaster for Smallhand in race 1 there.
Yes, indeed. There seems to be a bit of a psychology change between race 1 and race 2, or if we're going by Monza, especially, because race 1, as we know, was full of drama, full of crashes, some good driving, some really bad driving. But in race 2, it did settle down quite a bit. Now, I'm not sure if because the the nighttime conditions played its part, and people are just naturally a little bit more careful on the track. But there was some really great battles and not too many risky moves of what I saw.
Yeah, indeed. It's a much longer race. It's a much, you got many more opportunities to make or break your race. People, you need to be a bit patient. It's 40 minutes a long race.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And then on top of that, you got to consider the high.
Toilet.
Yeah, go for it, mate. You've got to consider the high temperature as well for track conditions. This is not the normality, but of course, a set of course does sponsor real weather conditions. Therefore, if it's 38 degrees in Imola, it will be 38 degrees at Imola in real life. So, yeah, ridiculous. We're in the deep into summer and not quite ideal for the drivers, and they're going to have to be a little bit wary on track. They're also going to have to conserve the tyres a little bit, know when to push, know when to back off. Ideally, they'll not be pitting, so they'll be staying out on track for the full 40-minute duration. So we'll see what happens. So just diving into chat right now. So Dazza, you said that I think the small hands ate your rear bumper. Well, we missed a few incidents. We tried to keep on board with as much of the action as possible. We did notice that small hands obviously did pit quite early, wasn't it? So, but fair play to you, Dazza, for staying out on track and obviously I think it was P18, wasn't it? I think, Dazza. Definitely an entertaining race there, Hazza Baldwin. Just got to welcome in DGM Sport, Chucky, who else new? Tom Preset as well. We got Ryan Harrison in chat as well. Uber Beasts. The King D. Who else have we got? I think that's all I can see in chat. But welcome, guys. Hopefully race 1 was an enjoyable one. We are praying that race 2 will be even better. But of course, drivers are in the set order from qualifying pre-race 1. So Vortel will be on pole position. Oh, is it? Is it not? Actually, yeah, but wasn't Tom in P2?
Oh, where's Tom gone?
Let's have a look down the grid. The
Where's
Tom
at
is
the back of the grid.
yeah.
What has happened there? I am unsure what has happened there, but Tom is now at the back of the grid. KD the Kai, welcome in to the chat. Chat, who is our money on this race number 2?
I think the only explanation I've got is maybe Tom disconnected. Maybe there was a connection error or something.
Oh, that's absolutely.
Because we are down to 22 drivers as well. We did start with 23. So that is the only thing I can explain. But as far as I know, it should be from qualifying results. Is where you position.
The grid is formed from race 2. Grid is formed from Q1.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
Sorry for those random noises there, chat. That was my cat desperately whinging to go outside, so deal with that real quick.
Cat's got his priorities. It's okay, Rob. We've got formation lap. That's fine. We do. If you notice here, though, guys, do notice that there is one slot missing. As in, there's a space between the green car and the white car at the back here. So I wonder.
Yeah, I think maybe
if that's anything to do with it.
Yeah, maybe been a bit of a server disconnect, and a couple of people have hopped back in and found themselves at the back grid.
Yep. Okay. Well.
And Dazza in chat, I absolutely agree with that statement there, mate. So we've got the number 688 driver, the BMW driver number 688, Dazza, both in the race and in the chat. Let's show some love for Dazza for turning up to both.
100% agree. Shows you what an alien he is, that he can do two things at once. You know, multitasking skills at its very best. Okay, so yeah, we've got a new front row then, guys. We've got Vortel from Busov then, and it'll be MGK and Smallhand on row 2, with Robbo Ferncar and Frank S on row 3, Aldori and Critico on row 4, and Adrian and Alerts on row 5. So yeah, just halfway through the lap at the moment, so quite a while until the formation lap is done.
Yeah, Vortel just making his way down the hill into the Acre Minerale complex. Possibly one of my favourite complexes.
It's definitely a very tricky complex. If like you have to be so perfect through there, because if you get too much on the curb on the right hand side, which I did actually see a couple of examples actually, that is a place where the car becomes very unstable, and you know, you got to do really well to keep the rears, to be honest. But there's quite a few tricky corners, as we saw with the chicane as well. If you get too much wheels on the sausage, that can also unstable the car. Of course. Sorry, go on.
There, Sean. I'm just laughing at Charlie's message in chat there. It is a rather complex Adam Erskine in the chat as well. Welcome in, Adam. Good to see you.
Welcome,
just in
Adam.
time for the start of race 2, as Vortel makes his way around last corner, corner 18. And Sean, over to you for the start of the race.
Over to me. Thank you very much, Rob. So we've got Vortel on pole position in the McLaren against Busov in the Porsche car, as we await for the green lights, as we about to start race 2, round 2 at Imola. What is going to happen here in this first part of the race? Who's going to get in front for turn 2? I thought that was the line there, but it's not.
Green light. Give it all you got.
And it's green lights, and go, go, go! And it looks like Busov got an excellent start there from P2. He looks like he's just... Oh, I thought he was going to nip into the lead there, but Vortel very late on the brakes and gets back in front of Busov, with MGK really... Oh, God, there's contact! There's contact between 3 cars in the back there. Can't really see who it is. Oh, God, if you could have a look at that, Rob.
It's the 420 of Smallhand again. Finds himself right at the back. Oh, absolute nightmare evening for Smallhand in the BMW 420.
Unbelievable. We saw just at the back of that shot, and obviously the 3 cars going off there, but couldn't tell who was at fault there. But again, yeah, you have to be wary in that section. You know, you have to give the respect on track. Otherwise, things like that do happen. But Vortel, currently in the lead at the moment, has a 3/10 of a second lead over Busov, with MGK just, oh my God, nearly going into the back of Busov in a P2 or P3 for MGK. But Vortel just getting that little bit of a gap from Busov. MGK is going to be looking to put all sorts of pressure as we go into Ravazza for the first time in race 2.
Yeah, MGK showing absolutely brilliant pace in race 1, but obviously a bit further back in the pack. Couldn't get amongst this battle up front, but this race is definitely in, you know, with a shout of a podium, or if you can keep it nice and clean.
Well, we've got sorry, Rob. We've got
so many battles going
Yeah.
up and down. I don't know where to put my eyes.
Well, I'm focusing on P12. It's Prentice, who is just. I think Prentice is the green car. It's the number 43 Lamborghini, isn't it? Yeah.
Lamborghini, that's Prentice, yeah.
So that's Prentice, but Cletus looking to make a move. He was looking. Prentice actually getting quite close to the back of Zabravani there, and Tom has gone up the inside of Cletus as well. So where Cletus looked like he was making a move on Prentice, actually loses one to Tom. With a very opportunity
to P13 from the back. That's a phenomenal start for him.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that is 8 positions, isn't it, already? Absolute fantastic surge there from Tom. Clearly not happy at starting at the back of the grid, of course. Could be unfair, could have been a glitch in the game. We're not really sure at this stage, but there is a battle here between Prentice and Zabravani. Zabravani will stay out in front of Prentice as he... oh, God, there's somebody just cut the chicane there. I'm not really sure who that is. It looks like... Can't see who that was. I think it was Akalugin. Waiting for the leadables to sort itself out, to be honest.
Oh, Spano is around at Rivasa.
He's going
stationary in the middle of the track.
He's going to lose
that one all on his own.
He's going to be at the back of the grid, isn't he? So unlucky there from Spano. As I look on board with P10 because it's Missile Dog Shaft on Friedman. Friedman is just in front of Missile Dog Shaft. So he's going to have to tuck in for now, but yeah, there's quite a few battles. We need to get back on board with the leaders as well, because there is currently just 2 temps separating Busov to Vortel. Looks like Busov actually got a really good run on the exit there. Let's switch cameras. So on the cockpit camera, or the dash camera, very, very close between them. Of course, we've only done 5 minutes of the race, a long way to go. But both of them setting the early pace, with MGK actually only 7 tenths down the road from Busov. So it's definitely a battle between the top 3. There is literally just a second separating the top 3.
Yeah, amazing stuff out on front. Just jumped on board with Tom. His surge continues. Currently in P13 behind Prentice Zabravani and Missile Dogshaft. He is eager to get past these guys because he's definitely got some pace that he needs to unleash.
Indeed. He's probably very frustrated that he's back here and he's looking to push up the field as quickly as possible. But it's going to be a tall order, it has to be said, Rob, because quite a few cars in close proximity, and especially this being a very technical circuit, it's not this track is not the easiest to make passes on.
Indeed. However, there is still 34 minutes remaining of this 40-minute race too. Plenty of time to make moves. He's still closing. Is he going to make a move into Tozen maybe? Needs a good exit here.
Not quite, unfortunately, but just looking at this aerial shot of the track, there is literally about 7 cars, I think, separated by a second, not even a second actually. So from P7, from P6, P6 to the silver and P14, they're all within a second of each other, so moves can be made. And the cars are bunched up at this early part of the race, of course.
Yeah, very, very close racing there. In that sort of second pack, the front runners, the top 3, all within 1 second of one another. Busov Looks like he might make a potential move on the exit
well, I'm
of
just
Rivazza.
looking. Sorry, I was just looking at Tom as he tries to make the move on Prentice. Kind of was looking to go up the inside, put his nose in front, but then backed out for the period. For the Rivazza last corner there. But has got that slipstream, of course, so he may try to make the move for the Tombarella chicane. Is it called that? Turn 2.
Tumbarella,
Yeah.
turn 2, 3 and 4 the complex. The Variante Tumbarella. Booze off now with a good exit out of Villeneuve. Moving up to turn 7.
Oh, so Bavani going for the move. Oh, there's contact between him and Missile Dogshaft. Both of them cleaned out, although Missile Dogshaft does actually get away, but he's going to have that damage. Zabavani is in the gravel trap there, and he has lost many positions from that. I have to say it was, I would say, a bit too much of an opportunistic move from Zabavani there, and he clearly loses out.
Yeah, big contact there into the Villeneuve complex.
So he's going to sink down the field. I'm just on board with him now, so he's down into P17. He's going to have heavy damage as well. It'll be interesting to see how Missile Dogshaft does here, and whether that damage is going to affect his race now. But currently in P13. Meanwhile, Tom on.
Tom is definitely going to be looking to make some moves round Prentice.
Oh, a little bit of contact.
A little bit of contact. Pushes him a little bit wide. And get a good exit out of here.
I mean,
Tom is on an absolute vengeance.
It's really tight, to be honest, because you've got De Silva just behind Tom as well. But Tom closer to the back of Prentice. Surely he's going to make a move now. Pulls out of the slipstream. Takes the, what will be the outside line for turn 2. I thought Tom was going to go for it there, but Prentice gets his nose in front, so Tom settles back into P11. He's got to be wary, he's got to be looking in his rear mirror.
Contact.
Oh, yes. He's going to have to look in his rear mirror because he's got De Silva and Missile Dogshaft for company behind. So this is very, very tight for position. Oh, Tom had to close the door because De Silva was looking for that opportunity up the inside of Toza. This is a very... Well, Tom has got to be very strategic here, let's just say. And may have to make a move on Prentice sooner rather than later, because I sense that if he doesn't, De Silva is going to try and overtake Tom.
Yeah, he wants to get this done. You can see the driving is becoming very eager. Let's say he wants to get past. We know Tom has got phenomenal pace, but he's ended up.
Oh yeah, he's gone deep
into a Variante Alta there. You can tell he needs to get past. But De Silva now just slides up the inside, the outside.
De Silva does make the move, yes, you're right. And Tom, I don't know if he gets a track limit penalty for that, or it's a warning or something like that. He did back off though, so maybe that is that excused him from getting a penalty, but loses that position to De Silva. So Tom will be down into P12 as we come across the line. Missile Dogshaft then, meanwhile, is looking to close the gap on Tom. But yeah, maybe De Silva will be making moves further up the grid because he has closed that gap on Apprentice, who is in P10 at the moment. So it's definitely a battle we need to keep an eye on, Rob.
100%. Another battle that he been keeping my eye on is that battle at the front of the grid. Sean Vortel still in the lead with the fastest lap. Busnov had got the gap down to about 0.7 of a second. It has opened up a little bit again now at 1.1 seconds there. MGK just behind as well, a further 1.3 seconds back. But it's very close, and all the drivers in the top 3 are running a very similar lap pace, so that one's definitely not over. I'm going to keep my eye on that while we look at some of the other battles going on.
Well,
around
yeah,
the
I was
track.
going to say De Silva right on the back of Prentice, actually looking to go around the outside. That's not going to be the wisest of moves, so he does back off, but Prentice makes the mistake going into the chicane. So maybe there's an opportunity here for De Silva as Prentice defends the inside line as we approach Ravazza on this downhill section now. Can he go around the outside, or is Prentice going to be... Yeah, Prentice been quite aggressive actually on the defence there, so De Silva has to back out. So Prentice holds off De Silva, but with all that battling, that does mean that Tom is closing in on De Silva again. So a little bit of a yo-yo race, and Missile Dogshaft as well, just behind Tom. So I need to go back on board with De Silva.
De Silva makes what a move! What a move from De Silva!
Great move!
Wow!
Didn't quite have the angle to bring you the perfect shot there, but Tom actually trying to make a move on Prentice now. So obviously we spoke about this, Rob, that De Silva was itching to try and get past Tom. He obviously did get past Tom through the error on like when Tom cut the chicane, and De Silva now trying to push up the field. Tom looking for his opportunity to get around Prentice, who is literally all over the back of him, with Missile Dogshaft looking to pick up the pieces should there be any opportunities.
Yeah, I must say, although we know Tom has got pace, but I have to say Prentice putting up a commendable defensive drive to hold that position in P11.
Yes, indeed, it did. It was quite
There we go.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Tom, well, it looked like Tom was going to pull in front of Prentice, but they are literally side by side as we approach Ravazza, and Prentice just about gives Tom enough space on the inside, but he is defending hard from Tom.
Yeah, Tom got a little bit loose as well out of turn 18. That puts Missile in the hunt into turn 2.
Yes,
much better exit.
You're very correct there. Surely Missile Dogshaft is going to go up into P12. Tom has got the inside line. Missile Dogshaft gives him the space, but maybe Tom feared that there might have been contact, so pulls out of it, and Tom down into P13.
Awesome battles. Moving back up to the front though there, Sean. Boozoff now with the fastest lap of the race. He's back on the tail of Vortel.
Yes, I see on the leaders. I was about to flick to it, but then I just noticed again Tom is fighting back to try and get past Missile Dogshaft. Tom, clearly wanted that P11 from Prentice, or even P10 I think it was at the time, finds himself in P13. You could see this is a guy that is very frustrated at the moment, and is looking for any window for him to get past Missile Dogshaft. Just going through the chicane now. Missile Dogshaft is catching to the back of Prentice. So this is going to be really interesting as we go down the hill for Ravazza. Oh, Missile Dogshaft might... Oh, I thought he was going to try one up the inside. I think after maybe seeing the last few laps how aggressive Prentice is on his defensive work, decides to pull out. Oh, there's contact! There's contact. I don't know if there was a lag spike or not, but Missile Dogshaft into the back of Prentice. No harm done. Definitely a big shunt, though.
Definitely contacts on my screen there.
Just look on the aerial. Look, again, more contact.
Tom
Tom goes!
Tommy's off.
Tom spins into the gravel trap. And, oh my God, that was...
Tom made the move up the inside and ended up getting a rear end shunt there. It's put him straight into the gravel, and he has returned to the pits on that one.
I was just about to say that would have been probably race over there. That was a big contact and off the track. Very confused though, Rob, with Prentice though, because is this just lag spikes going on? Because there was a couple of bits of contact, and even where that incident happened, it looked like as if Prentice got on the brakes early or something like that, or how it looked on our camera.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. There was definitely contact in the rear into the Villeneuve chicane and earlier on in the lap Tamburella, but you know, it's a difficult one to call. Definitely one for the stewards to maybe have a look at, but
yeah,
if there is a car in front of you, you know, they're entitled to that space on track. Yeah, difficult one to call. Not entirely sure what happened there.
This is why we're commentators, Rob, and that is why we have official stewards to sort out that mess.
Disappointing race for Tom. Disappointing race for Tom in race 1 and race 2. I don't think he's going to be happy with tonight's races, but so racing goes sometimes.
Well, we're on board with Busov in P2. That gap is still the same as what it was a few laps ago. It's roughly about 7 tenths. What I will say is that they have actually pulled away from MGK, who is now 2 seconds behind the leader, or 1.3 seconds behind Busov in P2. But it's looking like the battle for the race win is gonna go on and on, I think, Rob, as we do approach the halfway mark of the race. So 21 minutes left of race 2. But yeah, all race they have been almost bumper to bumper.
Indeed, yeah, and Busov with the fastest lap of the race still, as you rightly say, just coming up to the halfway. It looks like car number 41, that is Cletus. Looks like he is off at Variante Alta.
Oh yeah, very wide.
There. Sorts himself out and gets back on track, but will have lost a couple of positions there.
I think both Frank and Cletus went wide there, Rob. When I pulled to that shot...
Akalukin also off track in the 334. I think that was... Where is he? Coming down into Aquamarine.
Oh, he spins as well! Loses the rear.
Dirty tyres.
Yeah, it looks like it, Rob. Looks like it. So...
Buznov now, he's right behind Vortel in P2.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, we're on board with him now. Yeah, maybe a couple of car lengths between them. Yeah, getting a good set to 2 on Imola there, and putting all sorts of pressure on the Vortel as we go through the Greshna chicane. It looks like Vortel actually got a good exit there. There was a car parked up on the right hand side there. Car number 234.
Akalukin.
Oh, it was Akalukin again.
Akalukin,
oh, okay. So Akalukin, I don't know if he's got damage on the car, but clearly struggling with the setup of his car there. But yeah, this battle is going to keep brewing on and on as we come across the line now. What lap are we on, Rob? I'm trying to see.
Lap 12.
It's lap 12, right. Thank you, Rob.
Just coming up to lap 13. See where... No, we're currently on lap 12.
Lap 12. Thank you, Rob. Look at this battle now, though, Rob. Busov and Vortel near enough bumper to bumper. Of course, Busov's not going to make the move on this part of the track.
If he's not making a move to Silver, he's definitely making a move. Makes his way around Dan Nesby into turn 2 where there's contact. Dan clips the rear end of De Silva. They both stay on track and he gives the position back.
Good sportsmanship there. Yeah, I didn't see that at all there, Rob. We was obviously focusing on the front 2 there because that gap is is probably about 2 or 3 tenths. Vortel's probably pulled a little bit more of a gap. But
yeah, leaderboard's just updated there, so it's 5 tenths between P1 and P2.
yeah. Meanwhile, though, someone we haven't really focused on, Will Friedman and Sky Adrian for
Yeah,
P7
just
and 8.
just riding on board with Sky. I was about to bring them into the conversation. Fantastic race for Sky Adrian. It was right at the back at the start of the race. They're 2 tenths of a second behind P7 Will Friedman, and driving an exceptional race.
He is indeed, and he's getting closer and closer to Friedman. I do worry a little bit when they get that close together in the braking zones. But yeah, definitely very consistent race here from Adrian, and looking to push into that top 7. It looked like he was going for the inside move there, but decides to pull out of it. Of course, he's going to have the slipstream.
Brilliant exit
Yes,
out of
he does
Ravazza
indeed.
there.
And it is side by side between Friedman and Adrian. Adrian is on the inside with Friedman in the AMG on the outside. It is definitely a drag race to turn 2.
AMG.
Yeah.
Fantastic straight line speed.
AMG wins. So for now, Friedman in P7 to Adrian in P8, but I'm sure Adrian is not going to stop here. He's going to look for any gap that he can possibly squeeze through. And he does get a better exit than Friedman. He's going to have the outside line for Toza. Freeman gives him the space, and he gets a better exit. And that's a great move from Adrian. Moves himself into P7 and Friedman down into P8. Maybe...
Incredible stuff around the outside of Toza.
It's an incredible move, as you said, Rob. And it's looking like Adrian has got the pace here, because he is actually pulling away from Friedman. So Adrian having a fantastic race. Next in the line will be Elers in P6. Quite a lengthy gap, but we have got 15 minutes left of this. He does go a little bit wide, though. Hopefully not a commentator's curse there, Rob.
Yeah, you fell victim to that last week as well, Ford.
Well, back on board, Rob, is Vortel and Busov. A really tight gap between them, fighting for the win still. Absolute fantastic stuff. Let's get on board on the dashboard cam there.
Yeah, was not much quicker through Tamburello that time round.
Not quite as good exit though for turn 6. We're on turn 7 now at Toza, and yeah, Vortel actually gets a better exit, so that
McLaren looks mighty strong up that hill. I noticed this in race 1, that McLaren absolutely pulls up the hill from the exit of turn 7 Toza.
Yeah, it's looking. Yeah, you are right there, Rob. I think the uphill section, that initial acceleration, the McLaren seems to have it over the Porsche. I think the Porsche is probably a little bit better on the brakes, a little bit better in the corners, but certainly the as you can see there, closes that gap. But as soon as you get on the straight, it looks like that McLaren eats that Porsche up for breakfast all day long.
Just a couple of tenths back, a couple of tenths from P7 Sky Adrian and Will Friedman in the number 8 Mercedes AMG, and it's a terrible exit from both of them. De Silva now looking at that, is that an opportunity for me to close that gap?
Well, surprisingly, how wide Friedman went there, but still closes that gap on Sky Adrian in P7. Yeah, you can see the gap closing rapidly there from De Silva to Friedman. So we've seen some of the moves that De Silva is capable of. So surely he'll be licking his lips as we see Friedman go up the inside of Sky Adrian. On the outside, sorry. Can he be the later of the two on the brakes? Well, he was, because he cut turn 4 there. But look how close it is between these 3 drivers. Who's going
De Silva nearly took them both.
Yeah.
He nearly went straight through both of them.
Well, De Silva does get the move done on Friedman, so Friedman does pull out of it. Now the next victim will be Sky Adrian in P7 as we go around Tosa at turn 7. Yeah, I mean, not much to split the 3 drivers at the moment, but De Silva definitely a man on the move. As we go through the Piratelli corner there.
I've just jumped back on board with the race leaders. That gap still around 3 to 4 tenths of a second.
Rob, I've got to cut in because De Silva is looking to make the move past Adrian as we go into the chicane. They were side by side, but yeah, De Silva had to pull out of it. However, Sky Adrian went wide out of the chicane there. That means that De Silva and Friedman are going to close the gap on Sky Adrian now. And with, just going around Ravazza now with the straight to come, if they can get a good exit here, Adrian's going to be very vulnerable in this exchange or on this straight back onto the cockpit view there. So, yeah, he's getting pulled in the slipstream now. De Silva, and he's on the outside again. And who's going to be the braver one? It's going to be Adrian for now. De Silva will tuck back inside or behind Adrian. And Friedman, you can see that is looking, well, hoping that the 2 collide so he can get past them by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, it's really, really tight between these 3. In fact, it's 4 now because Naisbitt has joined.
Just about to say that, Sean, the battle in front has brought Naisbitt now into that battle.
So, with 11 minutes left of race 2, anything can happen here. Oh, yeah. This is certainly very, very tight between the 4 drivers. I'm still on board with this battle, but looking at the rest of the field, it looks like Vortel has developed a little bit of a gap to Vortel. I think it's 7 tenths at the moment, so we will remain on board with this key battle for P7. In fact, there is another car in the background, Rob. I think that's Frank S. So maybe...
Yeah, it's the McLaren, the 321 McLaren of Frank S there, just waiting to join the party by the looks of it.
So perhaps Sky Adrian is holding up quite a few drivers at the minute.
Sean, you need to get back up to the front. Buznov is all over the back of Vortel.
Well, I'm going to be flicking between everyone here, Rob, because there is 2 battles going on here.
Beautiful exit outside of Tosa. Buznov might be able to make the move.
Yes, we've gone back on board with Buznov and Vortel because I heard that ooh and ah from Rob. And yeah, this is definitely a very, very close battle. And Buznov, who's been behind Vortel for pretty much the whole race, is sensing an opportunity, perhaps, Rob.
Yeah, got that a little bit wrong there as they entered Acqua Minerale. The exit, the second corner of Acqua Minerale got a little bit loose, but he's really pushing hard now.
Well, I'm literally flicking between the 2 here, Rob, because I wish that I could do a split screen or something, because we've got 2 very, very interesting battles going on at the moment. But right now, it seems to be Vortel and Buznov that is drawing the most attention for me. Yeah, 3-4 tenths is the gap between Vortel and Buznov for P1 and 2.
Well, as you keep your eye on one battle, I will keep an eye on the other.
Thank you, Rob. Thank God there's 2 of us.
Looks to be about the only battles that are happening on track at the moment is that battle between P1 and P2. MGK riding rather a lonely race in P3 has remained there for the majority of the race, but lapping at a very good pace. Solid drive from MGK, as is BRC Critico. Ahmed Al-Duri in the number 15 AMG, also quite a quiet race for him, as De Silva looks like he's going to make a move.
I was about to say that, Rob. Not
Oh!
quite. Oh, yes, he will make the move because Adrian has hit that sausage curb and gone wide, and he's lost 3 positions there, down into P10. So that is De Silva from Friedman to Naisbitt to Frank S. And actually, Adrian is down. Yeah, 4th.
He's just lost a 4th.
Yeah. So a costly mistake there from Adrian, and the 4 cars burst through. So yeah, Frank seizing that opportunity to get into the top 10. Adrian into P11.
As the 4 cars of De Silva, Friedman, Naisbitt and Frank S all reap the rewards of that curb clipping there from Adrian. It's an unfortunate loss, but he's still in the battle and still got good pace, and there is still 7.5 minutes, or just under 7.5 minutes remaining in this race. It's definitely not over.
Oh, definitely not, Rob. Definitely not. Oh, God. I have to say, I was on board with De Silva there. Freeman looked like he got quite late on the brakes. Maybe De Silva got on the brakes early, but that gap really closed. And I think Friedman is going to put a bit of pressure on De Silva for that P7 now. But, of course, you know, Friedman is trying to get a move on, because if he doesn't seize the opportunity, maybe Naisbitt, maybe Frank, maybe Adrian could make the move instead. So this is really fascinating, Rob, because I really can't call what is going to happen here. Of course, playing on the minds is the fact that we've got 6.5 minutes left of race 2. So if they're going to make any moves now, if they're going to make any moves, they're going to have to make the moves now. So yeah, so tight between the 3 of them.
Timer is definitely ticking down, just under 6 minutes 20 on the clock. Busnov, Vortel has opened up that gap a little bit to Busnov, now 0.8 of a second, so a little bit of time opened up there, and the gap between Friedman and Silva seems to have got shorter.
Indeed. Yes, just on board now with Friedman. So it's saying on the boards about 2 tenths. Yeah, probably around that. It's about 2 cars length between the 2 drivers going through this important section. And it's looking like Naisbitt got a really good exit, actually, which is going to close the gap on Friedman. He's definitely not going to go for the move, but he was showing to Friedman on his side mirrors, just to show him that, look, mate, I am still just behind you, so be careful. I will make a move if you show me the door, of course.
Yeah, Dan Naisbitt just on the back of this, as well as it looks like Sky Adrian has dropped back a little bit further from this pack. 5 minutes now remain of this
Missile dog
race.
shaft. I thought he had an opportunity to slip up the inside apprentice, who made the mistake out of the last turn. We'll have that slipstream, but generally thought Missile dog shaft was going to get that P12 away from Brentis, but looking like he's got to settle for P13 at the minute. Oh, wow! So Missile Dogshaft, I don't know if it was too late on the brakes or Prentice got on the brakes too early, but had to swerve out the way at the very last minute, so he didn't go into the back of Prentice, and ends up losing 2 positions.
Also, Sean, big developments. Driver number 38 in the Porsche, that is Sky Adrian, does pick up a penalty for track limits. He has a drive-through. Drive-through,
yes, indeed, Rob. So we obviously mentioned how many times he went wide, and I'm not sure how many times it is. I think, is it 3 or 4 times?
I think it's 3. I may be wrong.
But, you know, he's obviously cut the track or gone outside of track limits excessively, to the point where, well, that's going to cost his race now.
Yeah, that's going to put him firmly at the back.
Meanwhile, what else have we got on track? Have we got Naisbitt, Friedman? Seems to be a bit of a gap now. So did
Yeah,
Naisbitt...
the gap seems to be opening up a little bit there. Busnov still charging down, trying to catch Vortal. A little bit of traffic in front as they make their way through Villeneuve and head on their way up to turn 7 Toza. Traffic is in a really unfortunate position. Moves out of the way, lets the drivers... Great sportsmanship from whoever that was there.
Yep, great sportsmanship indeed. I think it might have been Akalukin, I believe. Yeah, 7 tenths is the gap between the front two. We have got just under 3 minutes of the race remaining. It's looking... I think... God, it's going to be tight, Rob, but I think we might have 2 laps remaining after this one.
Yes, I imagine this could be 2 remaining. It was indeed. It was Daza in the 688 car there. He looks like he's taken a spin. Yeah, it's a bit sideways there in the Alta, but letting the guys through under blue flags. Great job from him.
Well, then we have a little battle going on track for P14 between Cletus and Danny McCutcheon. So Cletus in 14th, McCutcheon in 15. There is currently about half a second between them. So maybe... I'm guessing McCutcheon is the man on the move at the moment between the pair of them. So maybe worth keeping... a close... I was just about to say, keeping a close eye on them as McCutcheon loses the rear. That is that dodgy corner I was talking about, Rob, earlier, where if you, catch a wheel on the curb or get on the brakes too late, you can lose the stability of the car. And that is clearly what happened to McCutcheon there. So unlucky from him. I think we're going to have to go on board with Busov and Vortel then. Because
gap is coming down again.
Yeah.
McCutcheon, as of course last season 9, he was the AM champion. This is his first, I assume. I may be wrong. I believe this is his first season in pro category.
I believe so, Rob. Yeah, doing the absolute. Sorry, Danny McCutcheon. Did you just say, Rob? Or
yes.
Yes. I believe he was a podium finisher in the amateurs last season.
I thought he won it.
Did he win it? He might have won it. I know it was either podium or the championship win, but either way, deserving of the promotion to the pro category, and it's going to be a big step up, Rob, isn't it? The pros, absolute phenomenal.
Yeah, he won it. Confirmed.
Oh, he did win it. Okay.
Yep. So I had to go find my notes from last week.
Thank you for confirming, Rob. Thank you. So he won the amateur division and is well deserving of being in the pro category. But you can see that he's kind of struggling in the pro league. It's a big step up. But I'm sure he'll get used to it, Rob. I'm sure he will get his feet under the table, and I'm sure there's better things to come from him.
Absolutely. This is the final lap of the race, Sean. With that gap at currently about 0.8 of a second, is there enough time for Buzov to get this one done, or does Vortel finish out and achieve the double win for race 1 and 2?
I mean, at this stage, Rob, Vortel's been leading the whole race here. He has pulled a bit more of a gap to Busov, so it's looking like Vortel is favourite to win this race and get the clean sweep for round 2.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal drive from Vortel this evening. Although Busnov will get the extra 2 points for the current fastest lap of the race, unless Vortel can take it off him on the final lap of the 40-minute race. Sean, over to you for the end.
So round the last corner then, Vortel will come across the start-finish line to win race 2 at Imola. And P2 for Busov, well deserved there for Busov, with MGK getting the final podium position and Critico getting P4. Another new driver, I believe, getting an excellent result with Alduri in P5. Excellent result for Alduri. It's been a good round 2 for him. Alerts is going to pick up P6. De Silva was the one who actually got P7 away from Friedman. Managed to pull quite a big gap in the end. And then Naisbitt is going to get that P9 away from Frank in a P10. And then we got Prentice, P11, who ends up in quite a lonely race because everyone around him ended up crashing off. But Zabravani will get P12. Missile Dogshaft, P13. Just seeing him come across the line now. P14 will go to Cletus. Danny McCutcheon.
Seem to be missing a driver. Who was at the back of that four-way battle? Sky. Adrian seems to have disappeared off the leaderboard.
You are correct there, Rob. You are very correct. Obviously we couldn't see what happened in the closing stages there, whether or not it was a rage quit or he pitted just before. I'm not really sure. Interestingly, sorry. Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Akalukin just crossing the line in P16. He's the final of the drivers to cross the line. First season in pros. Does that absolutely brilliant for another P14 there with a finish, number 688 in the BMW, and been in chat all night. Absolutely phenomenal stuff.
Okay, sorry, Rob. Just making sure that we've got everything saved there. Okay, but yeah, we'll get on to the not the classified, because provisional race results there, because I'm sure that there's going to be a few steward inquiries happening. So let's get to the timetables here. And we've only got 18 now, so have people just ended to quit early? I'm not really sure, but we've got Vortel that won the race away from Busov in P2, MGK with P3, Alduri in P4, Alerts in P5, Friedman in P6, Naisby in P7, Frank S in P8, Prentice in P9, Zabravani in P10, and I don't think that's correct, is it, Rob? I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think some of the drivers have backed out early.
I was just making sure that we had the replays on board before I could get to the actual timetables there, but not to worry. I think we've read out most of the drivers anyway as they come across the line. Anyways,
picking up from the top two. Yeah, Friedman was P8, Naisbitt P9, Frank S takes P10, Prentice in 11, Zabravani P12. Missile Dog took 13, Cletus in 14, Dan McCutcheon in 15th. Dazza in the chat takes P16, Robbo and Akalugin 17 and 18, Sky Adrian with the drive-through. Oh, he got the drive-through penalty, didn't he? That's why he dropped off.
That's right. Yeah, ended up 4 laps behind the leader, unfortunately. Yeah, Akalugin, that is correct there, Rob. I know that's a name that you're probably going to struggle with for most of the season. Yeah, Spanu P21. Tom was P21, of course. Spun off, didn't he? Quite well, probably about halfway through the race, wasn't it? With Smallham P22, Trode 23, and Clark 24. Okay, so let me just try and set up these replays. Is it through here, or do I have to go to the main menu?
I'm not sure.
I definitely saved them, so I'm just wondering if I go to the front menu and there's a an option there to put the highlights on or
There it is.
not.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it on already.
Right. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So, with that said, then obviously it's obviously congratulations to Vortel today for both the race wins, and the podium finishers of Busov and who was the other one? MGK, wasn't it? Yeah. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to all the drivers as well, and what made fantastic racing for us to watch and observe. Hopefully everyone in chat enjoyed it as well. And got to say a big thank you to all the sponsors, FRL for putting this event on as well. But yeah, big thank you has to go to chat for tuning in and keeping us company for the duration of the race. We'll also say a big thank you to Rob, my partner in crime. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, appreciate you, Sean. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to the teams, the drivers, and the sponsors. I think before we go, should we take a quick look at where we are heading next week?
Oh, good point, Rob. Good point. Thank God I've got Rob. Thank God. So next week, guys, we have a trip to the UK for Brands Hatch. That is Sunday, July the 30th. And same format, of course, with another 5 weeks after that. We're off to America for the Circuit of the Americas, August the 6th. Back over to Britain for Donington Park on August the 13th. Then we got Valencia in Spain, August the 20th. Then we're off to Belgium for Zolder on August the 27th. And then last but not least, we're in France for the Paul Ricard GP circuit on September the 3rd. But yeah, really looking forward to Brands Hatch next week, Rob.
Yeah, Brands Hatch is always a spicy race in the GT3s. I was lucky enough to be there quite recently to see Valentino Rossi behind the wheel of a GT3. So fantastic circuit, fantastic for GT3 racing. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It's always an absolute pleasure to have that circuit in your roster. It's a very iconic circuit, very tight as well. The drivers are going to have to be really careful in terms of their driving, not only keeping it on the circuit, but also making their passes and stuff.
Yeah. So
just bear with me, guys. We just quickly get to the gallery. There we go. Okay. So let's quickly put that on. Play. And there we go. Right, okay. I figured it out now, guys. I figured it out. So those are the highlights there. But yeah, guys, gotta say, please do join us for next week at Brands Hatch GP. Should be an awesome race. Starting at the usual time. So Sunday, July the 30th, 8 p.m. UK time for the race. But the broadcast will be on for 7:45. And same format, 20-minute race and a 40-minute race with a 15-minute qualifying before race one. Really looking forward to that, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I hope to see you all back with us next week. Thank you to all of the chat as well for taking part. It's good to see so many names in the chat and watching the races and having fun. I will see you next week.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you, chat, as always. Thank you again to the sponsors, to FRL. It's been a real pleasure. So it's definitely good night from me, and it's good night from me, and it's a good night from Rob as well. Thank you so much, guys. Good night, and God bless you all.